Hello and welcome to Pre-season Live here on LCFC TV for Leicester City's third pre-season game of the summer. We're at the MKM Stadium to face Hull City, Championship side Hull City, and alongside me, Dan Bates, is Matt Elliott this evening. Matt, we're a half an hour away from kick-off. The stadium's steadily filling up, isn't it? And firstly, good evening.
Good evening, Batesy. Yeah, it's quite impressive stadium, isn't it? I haven't been here for a while, and I forgot the quality of it, but pitch is perfect as is standard these days, and the lads will be looking to carry on their work in pre-season, won't they, against stiff opposition again. It was at the weekend, and you're expecting a similar tough proposition this evening.
Yeah, when you look at, I guess, at the teams that Leicester have played, it started with non-league Notts County, didn't it? Then it was Belgian side Leuven, who were extremely impressive on Saturday. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Tonight, it is a championship side they're playing.
Yeah, and they've been over to Spain recently and acquitted themselves pretty well. No, Hull. Acquitted themselves quite well. So, they're quite pleased with their work so far. Leicester will be, to a degree, could do better maybe in terms of results, but not too much pressure at this stage of the campaign, is it? It is about getting those minutes in, etc., as we speak about regularly. But you're sort of looking to up the ante gradually, aren't you? Game to game, and this is what the third official fixture in the pre-season, and they're looking to turn it up a notch or two. And it's quite interesting the way that Brendan Rodgers has said about it with his team selection this evening.
Before we take a look at those highlights in that game against OH Leuven, as Matt loses his team sheet, that's going to be flying across. The wind has just picked up, incidentally. We've got a bit of a competition for you. So for those of you watching along at home, you can get involved with this competition. So you can win 2 tickets for the hospitality end in the Foss Club for that first game of the season against Brentford. The question is, the Foxes have not lost against Brentford since 1953. How many games is that they're unbeaten against the Bees? Is it 8, 9 or 10? So since 1953, they've not lost to Brentford. How many games have they gone unbeaten against the Bees? Is it 8, 9 or 10? All you need to do is email your answer to competition@lcfc.co.uk for your chance to win. And a reminder, the prize is 2 tickets in the Foss Club for that first Premier League game of the season against Brentford in the Premier League, of course, at the start of August. Right, before we go any further, let's take a look back at what happened on Saturday against OH Leuven in Belgium.
Here we go. A historic friendly and a chance to celebrate the King Power footballing family as Leicester City meet Leuven for the first time here in Belgium. 2 halves of 45 minutes followed by an extra 30 minutes today to get as many minutes into as many legs as possible. Messi Fofana has an early test here, and what a chance for Leuven, and what a start for Leuven. Moussa Tamari has swept that home inside 30 seconds. With the ball over the top, and Everson needs to be careful, and it's going to be 2-0. Natron Nsingi was too good for the Leicester goalkeeper, and after 12 minutes, Leuven are in control of this pre-season friendly. Dewsbury Hall might just be eyeing up a shot. Here he is! It's fabulous from Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. His first goal of pre-season. Leicester reduced the deficit, and the travelling supporters enjoyed that one. A brilliant hit. That's good from Sumare. It's that trademark spin he does. Maddison's taken it quickly. Daka's header! Brilliant Leicester goal. Quick thinking. And from 2-0 down, it is 2-2 as Patson Daka nets for the first time in pre-season. Big chance for Leuven to make it 3-2, taken. Mikola drive edge has done it. And in this 30-minute period after the 90, Leuven have started the better and the quicker, and they retake the lead. Oh, here's Vardy, it's a gift. It's 3-3. And on Jamie Vardy's first appearance of this pre-season, he's in the goals already. The only person who's been out there from the start is the referee, and he blows the full-time whistle. It is a draw, for what it's worth, and Kunto has seen King Power's two clubs put on a real show in the sunshine.
Belgium. Matt, it was a great game, wasn't it? A really good one to watch, 3-all draw.
Yeah.
It's not really entertaining.
Excellent game. Slightly worrying early on. The quality of Leuven caught me by surprise, caught a lot of people by surprise, and definitely some of the Leicester City players, I think. You know, you try and go into these pre-season games with a professional mentality as possible. Sometimes, even if it's subconsciously, you're not 100% at it, and you needed to be against Leuven because they were further down the line in their pre-season campaign. You know, they're playing this weekend in the opening game of their official season. You can see the difference. Brendan Rodgers spoke about it afterwards. You need to be prepared for that. So, in that sense, it was actually a good test because Leicester had to sort of react to that and adapt, and they did so eventually. Ended up a draw as it was, and I think all round everyone was happy on the day, weren't they, with the atmosphere as it was, and obviously the link between the two clubs.
Apologies for any sound difficulties that we are having at the moment. We're hoping to get those sorted here. But yeah, it was the whole weekend, as you say, was thoroughly entertaining, wasn't it? From Friday evening, there was an opening of an all-weather pitch. Brendan Rodgers was there, Dennis Pratt was there, Timothy Castagna, a number of the OHL players as well, and you could really feel the community feel about Leuven and about the connection they had with the city, just like Leicester do, of course, themselves.
Yeah, 100% agree with that as well, and also the impact that King Power have had on Leuven Football Club as well, and then in turn the impact that club has within the city and community, as you've mentioned. Then, you know, there's a big interest in terms of Leicester City players. All the locals were aware of certainly Leicester's main players, and there was almost a sort of a mixture, you know, support and rivalry of two clubs. It was a bit of a crossover almost at times, and at other times a bit of friendly banter. So it was a competitive edge about the game, so it served a purpose in that case, in that sense, but also, you know, brought together the two clubs a little bit closer, and of course Kuntop was there to sort of consolidate that. Weather was fine, there was entertainment in the town, there was entertainment around the actual ground itself, and there was plenty of entertainment on the pitch.
Which I think is the most important thing sometimes in pre-season. Probably Brendan Rodgers and the first team staff maybe don't agree with that, but us as neutrals, we like to see that, don't we? 3 goals for either side was good to watch, particularly that second half from a Leicester City point of view. Obviously they were able to come forward, get those 2 goals. They were fairly slow out of the blocks, weren't they? I know Brendan Rodgers said himself, didn't he? And Iose said, obviously, it was a little bit understandable but disappointing the way they came out of the blocks slowly. But remember, they're playing against a side who've got their first league game this weekend, a little bit similar to Hull. Obviously, they're way ahead in pre-season.
Yeah, it's something you've got to be aware of, something you've got to contend with in pre-season. But it's almost like a sharpening tool, really, because I think a lot of clubs go through it at different levels. Let's just say Leuven and tonight Hull, further down in the process. And whilst it's to be expected, you're hoping for as good a professional approach as possible. But at the same time, you're not going to be ranting and raving and storming into the dressing rooms and tearing the strips off players. It's a reminder of where you've got to get back to. I mean, you saw it, even the likes of Evans and Fofana against Nsingi, the Leuven striker. You know, he's sharp as attack, physically aggressive, and he was mean and keen. And Fofana was hoping it wasn't going to be that sort of day. You know, we know what good players both Fofana and Evans are, but it took them a little while. I was going to say a while. They'd never totally got to grips with it. There was long balls over the top. They didn't want to go there, but they were forcing themselves into it. But that will become autopilot mode for them come the start of the season. They play against them singing in 2 months' time. They'll deal with it much more comfortably. But on that day, it was a difficult test. But like I said, it sharpens them going forward.
So what are you expecting from Hull then this evening? As we know, Championship side. At times last season, they were flirting a little bit with that relegation zone. In the end, they fairly comfortably stayed up. But compared to Leuven, Matty Fright said he'd watched a lot of the Belgian league, says it's very similar to English football. So are you expecting something similar? Again, the whole players, this whole crowd here, which is steadily filling up, will want to see their players right on it tonight.
Yeah, I think you're expecting a stern test, aren't you? Very, the crowd, good atmosphere. The crowd's, like you say, it's far from a full house, but you wouldn't expect that pre-season. But there's a little bit of expectancy. You can sense it, and also I think the whole players. I've been in a similar position myself at stages in my career. Pre-season game against a top-level side, which Leicester are these days. It gives you that one opportunity to showcase yourself, but also you're sort of proving a point to yourself. You say, well, am I capable of playing against these? And you go for it. You express yourself, and they'll be giving it a good shot. They'll be playing as hard tonight as they will come the league games. Now Leicester have got to try and deal with that because they're not quite at that stage and they won't have that mentality. They need to get as close to it as possible as they can. Otherwise it could be an uncomfortable night again, as it was in the first half hour on Saturday. But it's a Leicester have quality, although again the way Brendan has picked the team, the whole players will think, yeah, okay, lots of quality players there, but we can have a go at them at the same time.
Yeah, albeit being pre-season, they'll certainly need their more experienced players to come to the fore this evening, Leicester City. One of those experienced players is Mark Albrighton, and I caught up with him as the team arrived this evening ahead of this game against Hull. Mark, we're here at Hull obviously for the next game of pre-season, the third in total. How are the legs now heading into this one?
Yeah, it's obviously difficult. The training that we've been doing, it's been great, but it's been tough. This is another exercise tonight where we're going to try and get some more minutes to as many players as possible and just keep topping the lads up. So it's good to come to a place like this and a team like this. It'll be a competitive game and one we're looking forward to.
Each time you play a team, they're ahead in pre-season really to where you guys are, obviously having come back early. Can you tell that when you're out on the pitch playing?
Yeah, I think you can to some extent, yeah. The strength and fitness is probably a week, 2 weeks short of what these will be, but I think it's the same with Leuven the other day. They were a week away from the start of their season, so it's obviously a good test, and like I say, the training we're doing is preparing us for this, so it can only help.
Before the other two friendlies, there'd been a week's break. Now this is 3 days after that. Leuven won. That's a really good test in pre-season, isn't it, to get those games coming thick and fast? Obviously there's another one or another couple on Saturday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think as a player you want to play as many games as possible. Like the training, as I say, has been fantastic, but you can't be being out there and getting back used to the sort of geography of a football pitch, and it's something that you lose pretty quick over the summer, so it's good to get back to.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Mark Albrighton there speaking before kick-off for this third pre-season game of the summer. You're watching pre-season live here on LCFC TV. We're looking up at the big screen, 15 minutes now away from kick-off, and the players themselves, Matt, as we can see, are just heading down the tunnel now for their final instructions. As is with pre-season, there are pretty much 2 11s for each half, and that's understandable, Matt, I guess, isn't it, when you look at it, and it is just, and it's the thing we keep saying in pre-season, but it's about getting the minutes in the legs.
Yes, it is. Results, not really that important. Nice to get a winning mentality, I suppose. Performances, more so. But certainly at this stage, even now, it is the fitness aspect of it. Also, it's a sort of collaboration of things, isn't it? You want to get used to a rhythm and a style of playing. Creating that adaptability as well, because we've seen already that Leicester played 2 different systems within one game. albeit an extended period on Saturday. It looks like from the team sheet today that will be the case again this evening, with 2 different 11s we expect. It looks like a back 3 from the start, but I'll leave that for Dunny, who's going to name the individuals in a few minutes or so. So yeah, it's a whole multitude of things coming together. First and foremost, getting them up to that peak level of fitness so they can go and produce their best.
They are playing for a trophy this evening. I am doing that with inverted commas, but it's a chance to win something and a chance to get that winning feeling again. So there will be a competitive edge to this game this evening, which is what Leicester need as they're edging nearer and nearer. Now, we still, it seems like a way away, that game against Brentford, doesn't it? But actually, it isn't. It is just around the corner.
No, it's not that far away at all. And I was saying on Saturday, I was quite surprised how few games that lads tend to play these days, 90 minutes throughout the course of pre-season before the first game of the Premier League itself. A lot of them, I think, don't play more than 1, possibly 2 max. Personally, I used to like to get 3 full games, know where I was exactly. But they're different specimens these days. But yeah, the game itself tonight, I mean, some people will laugh at the fact that it's for a trophy. But I think, listen, they're competitive animals. Professional footballers, they have to be, day in, day out, they compete with each other. They test themselves, and certainly against other opposition. And it will give a minuscule edge to the game, I think, as well, because even if it's not while the game's going on, towards the latter stages, you start thinking about, right, there's actually a purpose to winning this. It does matter the scoreline, even though I suggested otherwise not so long ago. But I don't think the fact that you win a trophy, it does it any harm whatsoever. Give it that little bit, and then at the end, hopefully Leicester are the winners, whichever way, and then there's positive memories. You'll be semi-jokingly celebrating a trophy, and okay, not a lap of honour, but you might show it to the fans. Little run around in the changing rooms, little feel-good factor. Won't do any harm at all.
And pride has to play a part a little bit as well. You're playing against Championship opposition, you're a Premier League side, you want to prove that you have got that quality. On paper, 9 times, 10 times out of 10, you should be beating Hull City.
Yeah, I think that's pretty big for the individual, and then that obviously has an effect on the accumulative outcome, because I've been guilty of it myself, sometimes thinking, wow, Premier League player playing against League One, I don't have to be at my maximum to deal with this. Wrong. You have to remember what got you to being a Premier League player, having that, that focus, that sharpness, that experience, and then the ability comes through. We saw it on Saturday. The likes of Jonny Evans. It's not a worry. Jonny will know what he did right and what he could do better at the weekend, but he's fine because he knows it's a bit of a process. But if you went into that, I don't know, a little bit casual, you're not doing yourself any favours. If you're a younger player, maybe, the manager's having a look at that. Oh, he's got a bit of question marks over his attitude and that. You can't afford to be anything less than on your A game, otherwise you come unstuck. Because, like I say, these Hull players are going to want to make an impression.
Well, we're just over 10 minutes now away from kick-off here at the MKM Stadium for Leicester's 3rd pre-season game of the summer. Stay with us for the full match. Hopefully, post-match as well, we'll hear from Brendan Rodgers and Mark Albrighton as well. So stick with us for that afterwards. But now let's hand you over to our commentary team, both making their first LCFC TV commentaries of the season. Jerry Taggart and John Dunn after this little break.
Because memories never fade, no matter how long. We'll still remember the moments of excitement and the impressions of Thailand. Amazing Thailand, now even more amazing.
match day. It doesn't start when the whistle blows. It starts with the lucky pair and the lucky party. It starts with making room for the real special one. And with choosing who's on for 2 goals today. It starts with picking up your mate and everyone he lives with. It starts with the usual in the usual coffee house. Oh, and almost ends there. Don't want to leave those behind, eh? It starts with the walking, with the talking, and with that first glance of home. It starts with the next big thing. No, the next big thing. And maybe with a little nap for the tired one. It starts with a quick flick straight to the same player every week. With a quick tap on the way in, with a quick polish of a friend, and with a quick dash for the pies. It starts with finding a seat, with a deep breath of expectation, and with one last check. Here's to the highs, and to grabbing your share. FBS, always by your side.
Lamia is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece that's balanced and in harmony. This is the Lamia philosophy, brewed into every drop of Chang beer. This is the taste of Thai perfection. Chang beer. We brew friendship.
Good evening from Humberside, pre-season game number 3 for Leicester City in East Yorkshire, where Leicester City will take on Championship side Hull City. The summer campaign started in Seagrave against Notts County before the training camp in Evian ahead of the weekend game in Belgium against Leuven. Preparations stepping up on this summer's evening against Hull, who start their season in 10 days' time, 8 days before Brendan Rodgers' side kick off their Premier League season. Glad to be joined by Jerry Taggart on a breezy evening in Humberside, Jerry, and hate to talk about the weather, but we've had 2 days of heat wave, and it's quite a refreshing change to have a lovely breeze wafting through the top tier of the main stand.
Yeah, it was quite refreshing to know what the word tonight, John, to this game. I've even brought a jacket with me, believe it or not, but yeah, this is ideal conditions for the players this evening. Obviously playing the heat we've had over the last couple of days would have been slightly different, so they've timed this game absolutely bang on, and really tonight again, pre-season friendly against the Championship side, who are in front of Leicester as regards to their preparation for the beginning of the season. So the players that come onto the pitch tonight, you know, it should be a good exercise for them.
Seen the young children waving the flags ahead of the arrival of the two teams. Hull City slightly ahead of Leicester in terms of their pre-season preparations, as is the case these days. As Leicester did, they've travelled abroad, they've been to Turkey, they've been to Spain, back on home soil for this evening's clash. And that will play a difference. It did at the weekend, Jerry, with Leuven, their season about to kick off, and Brendan Rodgers talking about that extra sharpness that that Leuven had, that Hull might have tonight as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it comes in, and obviously, again, when you play these games, you talk about your fitness levels, you're talking about getting miles in your legs, but more importantly, you're talking about key players staying fit for the beginning of last season. So the adrenaline isn't rushing as much as it would be come the start of the season against Brentford. So, and obviously with Hull starting their pre-season that little bit earlier, probably a week earlier, to be honest with you, then you expect the fitness levels just to be still slightly off. Not too much. You're expecting improvement in levels from the game against Leuven at the weekend, but you have to say you'd expect Hull fitness-wise to be slightly the sharper.
As we've seen, some of the Blue Army have made the trip to East Yorkshire. Some of the youngsters preparing for their summer holidays and starting with a Leicester City pre-season game. There is a trophy up for grabs as well this evening. The Corendon Airlines Cup will be played for. It is a draw at the end of the 90 minutes. We will go straight to a penalty shootout. It is the inaugural time that this competition has been played. Hull are hoping that it's a regular fixture, a tradition that starts to become part of their pre-season campaign. Very strong Turkish links now with Hull City, with the new ownership and the new sponsors, Corendon Airlines, a Turkish airline, and it's the trophy that Leicester will be playing for this evening. As we wait for the two sides and Leicester's preparations starting to mount, and did feel for the players yesterday, Jerry, we saw the searing heat that some of the squad were working in, and no doubt they will be relieved that it's not that kind of heat this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine what they were going through, to be honest with you, but just say I'm glad I wasn't training in it. But yeah, it couldn't have been easy, but conditioning wise, on the flip side, great preparation, pre-season preparation, getting your body used to those kind of conditions when you're training and training hard, coming out the other side. So yeah, it's good conditioning, let's call it, for the players.
Some of them will be eyeing up a World Cup spot in Qatar. I wonder how much it might help towards that as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We've got a raft of internationals in the Leicester City squad. So yeah, it's not done and dusted yet, is it? As far as the squad numbers and squad names for all the different countries that are going to be in the World Cup. So it's a very, very important season, or a very, very important half to the season in the lead up to the World Cup.
Those youngsters have been waving those flags for quite some time as the players start to emerge in the tunnel. And you're mentioning about pre-seasons of years gone by, Jerry, and you wouldn't have enjoyed the temperatures of the last few days. Do you look back on pre-seasons fondly, or for a player was it always a case of just getting through them and getting towards the big kickoff?
The latter, John, to be honest with you. I can't remember one player actually talking to one player and him saying to me, "Oh, I can't wait for pre-season to start." So yeah, you knew you had to do it. You got your head around it. You got through it. Come out the other end, and then it's time for the fun and games.
The MKM Stadium welcomes the two teams as new season preparations are turned up a notch, with the new campaigns firmly in sight for both Leicester City and Hull City. It's game number 3 for the Foxes. They're in their summer programme after taking on Notts County, and at the weekend it was Leuven. Chance to look then at the two teams, starting with the home side, Hull City. 8 summer signings brought in, 4 of them starting, including Turkish international winger Dogakan Sinic, who joined last week, but it's his first appearance for the Tigers this evening. Figueiredo, Tufan and the former Fulham midfielder Seri are the other 3 that start, with the 2 more on the bench. Shota Arveladze is the Hull City manager, came in January and steered the Tigers to safety, and looking forward to a much more successful campaign. Let's look at Leicester. Brendan Rodgers plans to switch all 10 outfield players at half-time. The first half starting a lineup looks like a back 3, with Yuri Tillemans captaining the side and Patson Daka and Jose Perez leading the line. The likes of Maddison, Vardy, Dewsbury Hall and Fofana will emerge after the half-time break. Stuart Stockbridge is the referee. Jeremy Tillman's captaining the first half team. Jonny Evans will captain the second half team. Louis Coyle is his opposite number. No pre-season needed for Jerry Taggart. The eagle eyes are out, and he spotted that number 9, Aliar Sandamesh, is actually next to the centre circle, but he's named as one of the substitutes. We will keep an eye on that one, but it does look as though the player who joins in January on loan, who signed permanently in the summer, will start up front for Hull City. Leicester will get us underway in all blue, the new strip that has gone down a storm with supporters. Many of them will be getting that prepared for the kick-off start against Brentford, which is just a few weeks away. Hull showcasing their new away strip that was announced and launched yesterday, moving away from their traditional amber and black colours for one evening at least here at their home ground of the MKM Stadium, formerly the KC Stadium, formerly the KCOM Stadium. As Castagna gets in down the right-hand side, holds off his man, and there was an outstretched leg, and Hull clearing the early danger to a ripple of applause from the home crowd, who are anticipating a much stronger season for the home side after finishing the last campaign in 19th. In the end, 14 points clear of the final drop zone that Peterborough took up.
Dennis Pratt, good to see him back. Just gaining the foul. It's a fantastic diagonal to begin that move off from Vestergaard. That'll do him the world of good.
Free kick that Yuri Tillemans is over. Dropped to Soyuncu, who had gone forward. Big Turkish defender. Supported by Prats. Now Prats and Daka. First time from Tillemans. Soyuncu still on the right. Lovely turn of pace. And a ball that's looped towards the far post and drops away to safety, but a positive start for the team in blue.
There's just nobody really in the box. Elsie Pearce was sort of lurking, wasn't he, at the back post? And that ball came in from Soyuncu. Maybe just sort of checked back yet again and tried to feed it out. There was more players stood on the edge of the box than there was in the box. But a decent start, yeah, you have to say.
Pratt. Thomas to the left, Perez in front of him, but goes back to Soyuncu. Playing with a back five, which is not shorter. Arveladze brought in when he arrived in January, taking over from Grant McCann. And it's the name of Arveladze that has been sung around the MKM Stadium.
I think it's a number 11, John. Cynic, who's not on the pitch.
And he's the new signing who joined last week. Also noticed there's a number 19 on the field, but there isn't a number 19 on the team sheet. You've got to love pre-season.
Well, listen, maybe it is him. He's just changed his numbers.
And a quick look at the back of the Hull programme. No squad numbers listed. Luke Thomas, we certainly recognise him. And a cross that is deflected, and it is a Leicester City corner.
Well, Soyuncu's been involved early on 2 or 3 times now. Twice on the right, this time on the left.
Dangerous ball that's kept alive. Initially by Vestergaard and then by Prats before the number 9 comes in to dispossess. Pressure is applied by Daka, but it's Figueiredo playing the ball back to goalkeeper Ingram.
Another good challenge though again from Soyuncu, just coming in and nicking that, setting Leicester City off on the front foot.
Jacob Greaves looking to go long. Again on this left side, Brandon Fleming named on the bench, the number 21, seems to be the left wing back. As Daniel Amate clips the ball over the head of Sayed Manesh. It cost £4 million in the summer after the loan spell from Fenerbahce, Iran international. Only scored 1 in his 12 games on loan, but became a popular figure immediately with the fans. Big bustling striker. Castagna. Tillemans. Castagna was fouled. Play continues. Tillemans was fouled as well. Free kick for one of them.
Should have played on, the referee there. Just done enough, Yuri, hadn't he? As you said, there was probably 2 fouls in that, but the Tillemans just gets the ball away, goes to a blue shirt. Referee should have played on.
Daniel Amate became a regular figure in the side last season due to the amount of injuries that Brendan Rodgers' side suffered, particularly in the back line. Evans and Fofana missing so many games. Here's Vestergaard, signed last summer, made an immediate impact on his debut in the victory against Wolves. Really figured towards the end of the campaign. Castagna, who finished the season really strongly. Tillemans. Papi Mendy. There's a real tussle there, and eventually free kick goes against Papi Mendy.
Just see here, he just gives up the simple ball, Papi, and then it becomes a physical battle, which he obviously loses out on, and then he's scrambling. But he should have just played the simple ball. I know it was a negative pass, but it was the right ball at the right time to play.
Jacob Greaves. This is Brandon Fleming. Tufat, another one of the summer recruits. Fleming holding his run on the near side. Greaves continuing his. Greaves has stayed forward, and Daniel Everson having to use all of the 18 yards available to claim the ball before overarm finding Soyuncu. It does look as though the team sheet we've been given against the team that's been put on Hull City social media does show a couple of changes. Looks as though Sayed Manesh, who we mentioned, does start, as does Brandon Fleming, two fan we knew about. Estupinian is the other player who wasn't even named on the bench but starts. Amate. Luke Thomas, Daka in the middle, Castagna arriving as well. Leicester opting to go back to Vestergaard, and now Soyuncu. Daka looking for a delicate layoff. Tillemans trying to steal the ball back, but it's with Matt Ingram. About to start his 4th season as a Hull City player, formerly with Queen's Park Rangers. Started at his hometown club, Wycombe Wanderers. Castagna asking a bit of Tielemans. Tufan asking a bit too much of Jean-Michel Seri, twice promoted with Fulham, but released in the summer. It's a good ball by Jose Perez to Daka, who wants to go. First time, a snapshot across the face of goal, as sharp as you like, Patson Daka.
Yeah, well, he didn't have any options really. Patson, good ball from Perez down the outside, good run from Daka. It's just that slight lack of composure, right at the last minute, sorry. You get that one on target, just screws the ball slightly, just hits it where the inside of his boot, just screws it past that far post. But that's a good move, and I was going to say Leicester have find it pretty easy going when they're in control of the ball. They've always got options available to them. So it's been a pretty comfortable start. Hull at the minute just paying back in their own half and just struggling to get any momentum in the game.
Youri Tielemans. He's closed down and challenged by Regan Slater. Leicester back in possession. Tielemans again demanding the ball, as he so often does. Seven goals last season for the Belgian international. He'll leave the throw to his compatriot Timothy Castagna. Castagna, who missed a chunk of last season, missed January to March, but he started the last 7 Premier League games of the season. Jose Perez making a run through the middle. Soyuncu is searching for him. Drops to Tielemans. Another shot like Daka's that was first time, not quite as close to the goal as the one from the Zambian.
Yeah, it's just a pot shot, isn't it, from Youri? Ball just sort of pops up in the air for him, and he thinks, why not?
Seri has done really well there to avoid Jose Perez and Dennis Pratt. Both were confident they would claim the ball from the Frenchman. Had 4 years at Fulham. Spent the second half of the 2021 season on loan to Bordeaux. He had a season with Galatasaray. He seemed to get Fulham promoted, but then was never part of the Premier League seasons that they took on. He finds himself back in the Championship and a new challenge with a new club in Hull City. Greaves. Regan Slater, urged forward by the crowd. Fleming to his left, but he wants to look to the right. Brings Seri back into play. Good defending by Castagna, and the referee helping that one to Seri. And because he's got in the way, there will be a drop ball.
Well, that was the first time in the game Hull actually got the ball out. It shows you in the modern style of football, playing out from the keeper. You know, they were patient inside their own half, worked the ball through the thirds. You know, and looked promising for Hull there. Good ball coming into the box, great clearance from Castagna, and then that little debacle which involved the referee. But that was slightly better from Hull.
Even referees need a pre-season. Amata, Tielemans. It's a delicate chipped ball out to Dennis Pratt. Thomas in front of him. Jose Perez just trying to drop into that pocket of space in front of the whole back 5 as it is at times. Chase on here for Estepinan. Colombian, who joined on a free from Portuguese sides, Vitório Guimarães, after scoring 15 goals in the Portuguese top flight last season, the 5th highest scorer. 3 in his last 3 before he made the move to England. Well, they've certainly invested in the summer and will certainly be looking to improve on that 19th placed finish. a trip to Turkey, ironically, given the Turkish influence here. They were beaten by Fenerbahce in their first game of pre-season. As Leicester's Turkish influence, Soyuncu sees the ball away for a goal kick.
He's again heavily involved, isn't he? Young Soyuncu, well, he's running the space from inside his own half to get Leicester on the front foot.
He's been had the ball stolen from him there, and Vestergaard makes a heading clearance for the corner.
Commentator's curse there, wasn't it? Just trying to be a little bit clever.
Even commentators need a pre-season, Jeremy.
Just play that ball. It's on his left foot. He's got time to play it. Again, it's all the learning curve for young Soyuncu. And again, if you've got a chance to play the ball up the line and you've no other options, you've just got to play it.
Corner will be taken by Brandon Fleming. First corner for Leicester to defend. Swung into the near post. Vestergaard got a touch on it. Sent back in by Slater. Punched away by Everson. This time it was Tielemans. Leicester went everyone back, meaning the ball keeps coming back to the team in white. It was Seri and now it's Louis Coyle.
Good defensive header, was it, from Vestergaard initially.
Sayed Manesh gives the ball straight to Jose Perez. Castagna in a tight area, but feeds it to Mendy and back to Amati. African Cup of Nations winner Papi Mendy will be looking forward to the World Cup in the winter. Fair play to the Hull fans. They've come in their numbers and they have come with their voices well and truly ready to be heard.
It's an exciting period, you know. You say they've got eight new signings brought in the summer, so there's a lot to look forward to if you're a Hull fan. You know, after staying up by the skin of their teeth at the back end of last season.
There's another one on the way as well in Ghanaian striker Benjamin Tete. Not quite got the paperwork through, but that's envisaged to be happening very soon. And they've been linked with a host of familiar names as well. Hull's pre-season continued with a trip to Spain. They beat Malaga 3-1. Louis Coyle, Jacob Greaves and Alfie Jones, the goal scorers. Leicester with that 3-3 draw in Belgium at the weekend. Dewsbury Hall, Daka, Vardy, Leicester's 3 goal scorers. Leicester with the double header at the weekend. Both games live on LCFC TV. First one, a 1 o'clock kickoff at Derby, and then a 3 p.m. kickoff at Preston. The pre-season campaign finishes with the home game against Sevilla on the 31st of July. It's a 6 o'clock kickoff. Too fat, couldn't quite stretch enough to keep that one in. Likewise, Hull will have a double header of their own on Saturday. They travel, or one team travel to Cambridge, the other team travel to Peterborough. Becoming all the rage, the double headers. Castagna's throw. Tielemans and Jose Perez, the 2 players trying to give Castagna the option. It's into Tielemans. It's a flick ball towards Daka. Sayed Manesh using his strength and allowing Estupiñán to nip in and feed the ball to Fleming, who delivers it straight back towards the 2 strikers, but Everson very firmly coming off his line and taking no prisoners.
It's good goalkeeping. Nice early shout from the keeper there. You can see Vestergaard backtracking, struggling a little bit to cope with that ball into the box. The keeper comes to his rescue.
Left by Tielemans, so Jose Perez. Tielemans continued his run. All eyes on the referee, who shakes his head. But the claims are very strong from Yuri Tielemans.
I'd like to get a good look at this on the replay, John. For me, that's a penalty. It's a lovely little dummy from Tielemans.
Jacob Greaves was the Hull defender. You can see by Tielemans' collar, it was certainly turned up when he refound his feet.
Yeah, he's grabbed him. He's going to be ready to go down there. You know, Greaves has definitely grabbed him. Not too sure on how much, you know, the grabbing on the shirt affected Yuri, but you know, even if it's put him off 1 or 2%, you know, if it's impeded him slightly, and so that Yuri can't get on the end of that pass from Jose Perez, then for me that's a penalty.
Castagna. Daka feeding the ball to Pratt, likewise to Thomas. Leicester comfortably keeping possession, moving the ball swiftly, even in these warm conditions. Soyuncu into space and happy to attack it. Vestergaard. Castagna started to make a run, but he's had to move back into an onside position on this near side as Soyuncu and Vestergaard keep the ball. Pratt was on the stretch, but he couldn't take the ball from Vestergaard, and now Sayed Manesh is breaking away for the home side. Greaves to Flemic. Seri. Figueiredo. Another of the summer recruits arrived on a free from Nottingham Forest. His last game for Forest was here in the 1-1 draw, the last game of full season before Forest went on to clinch promotion by the playoffs, and it's a game that all the Leicester fans are looking forward to next season. Back in the top flight, and an East Midlands derby against the team from further up the M1. Greaves has turned, and no matter which way he turns, there is a blue shirt loitering, Tielemans or Daka. Daka cutting off the option to Ingram, the goalkeeper.
It was good shadowing there, wasn't it, from Yuri Tielemans? As you say, just closing the options down there for Greaves.
Tielemans to Pratt, allows Mendy to take up Leicester possession. Thomas and Pratt linking up well. And again, it's Thomas to Pratt. Thomas looking for the return, making the run infield. Mendy filling in on that far side. Thomas moving it back to Pratt again, and again Thomas looking for the return as it's sent in, and an awkward clearance by Greaves, but effective. Up and over the bar, and it's a Leicester City corner after some really solid build-up play.
Yes, good ball, isn't it, from Dennis Pratt. It just takes a slight deflection, and that just makes it a little bit more difficult for Greaves. He has to readjust himself, and in the end just does enough. But again, good positive play, good little phases of passing going on in there.
Dangerously in-swinging ball, and Ingram came but didn't get there. Soyuncu got something on it. It was goalwards, but he's never going to really trouble the goal. It was Sayed Manesh, the big striker, making the clearance, but I think he initially got in the way of Ingram. which caused the panic inside the penalty area.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the keeper's just left it a bit later. It's a late shout from the keeper. And the striker's already made his mind up. He was going for that, and he can't duck out of it.
Chance of a break here with Soyuncu sliding in and ends up bringing down Regan Slater. In fact, Louis Coyle on that far side, the captain trying to break away. Soyuncu in his way.
Just stay on your feet there. Open your body up. He's a little bit square on there, Soyuncu, when Coyle comes running at him. He just needs to open his body up and stand his ground.
Fleming. Played by Castagna. Lovely layoff by Seri. The home crowd like that. Soyuncu steaming into a challenge. He saw the ball that was there to be won. There's Greaves, homegrown talent, born down the road in Cottingham. Didn't miss a minute of Championship football last season. Fleming, another player that's come through the ranks, was tricked by Soyuncu. I think in a league game he may have seen a yellow card by now. How lenient is the referee going to be in a pre-season friendly?
Again, he just dangles a foot out, as you can see there. Again, he's just a little bit too square on for me. You know, when he's confronting the ball, when he's confronting Fleming, again, just open your body up a little bit. You know which way he's going to go, and if he goes the other way, then he's going into bodies, and you stand your ground.
3 Hull players over the ball, 2 of the summer recruits, and Tufan, who wears 10, Seri wears 24. Fleming had a look, but he's made his way infield. It's a long way out, but the new recruit fancy making himself an immediate impact with the home crowd, but it's a curling shot that falls wide of Daniel Everson's goal.
I get to new from the crowd, but always going wide, that one, John. Pretty tame effort, you have to say.
The new signing in the honeymoon period where you can do pretty much anything. Cost nearly £3 million from Fenerbahce. Did have the start of last season in the Premier League with Watford, but was returned in the January window. Didn't really have much of an impact at Vicarage Road. Made 7 Premier League appearances, lost 5, drew 1. He did play, he did start in a 5-2 victory at Everton. Capped 65 times by Turkey. Tillemans. Yannick Vestergaard. It's a diagonal ball towards Luke Thomas. The flag is raised on the near side. It won't be a Leicester corner, it will be a free kick to the home side.
Just starting to come back into it now, haven't they, the last 10-15 minutes or so. They've just up the tempo, they've got their passing going. But as of yet, neither keeper has been called into action, really. You know, the whole keeper had to come for a corner, which he miscued. But other than that, there's been nothing really.
Castagna on to Dennis Pratt. Daka showing for the ball, coming short, but ultimately dispossessed, and this is Seri. He's not keen to let the ball go, and Daka scenting an opportunity, and Patson Daka scoring for Leicester City. As he did at the weekend in Leuven, he's looking to start the season on fire. And as Seri was delaying the pass, Daka steamed in to take on the ball, and the finish was superb, and Leicester lead.
Well, it's great anticipation here. Dennis Pratt as well, doesn't give an option on the ball, and watch Patson just on the front foot, pinches his pocket, and that's a delightful little finish, little curler with the left foot. But here he does brilliant tackle. And it just opens up for him. He shifts it onto his left foot. And a lovely curved finish. Great composure.
Saying about honeymoon periods for new signings, and they did like Jean-Michel Seri, but you can't be doing that on too many occasions, not with the talent of the likes of Patson Daka around.
Yeah, credit Dennis Pratt.
Yeah.
You know, he just made it difficult for Seri. He was trying to play a forward pass. Again, didn't want to go back, even though it's a right pass. You know, he didn't want to make that pass, and in the end, he just dwelled on it too long.
11 goals in all competitions last season for Patson Daka, 5 of those in the Premier League. It's his ball to Soyuncu, who again is invited to come forward. Knowing how much strikers breed on goals, and in terms of their confidence, Jerry, it can't harm when your strikers get a goal or two in pre-season, as Vardy and Daka have done.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. You know, scoring goals becomes a habit, especially when you're a striker. You know, and it obviously gives you confidence, you know, and it's a competitive friendly, this. So, yeah, it'll do him the world of good, no doubt.
As did many of these players. Daka's season was extended, had a couple of games for Zambia, scored in early June in a defeat against the Ivory Coast. There's plenty of videos and pictures of him during the summer. Almost like he didn't have a break, constantly training, constantly posting the pictures that the fans will have seen. And he's keen to make an impact in what will be his second season in England with Leicester City. Certainly a popular player amongst the squad and amongst the fans. And he's on the chase again here, looking to latch onto the ball from Daniel Amati. Jose Perez making a run, and the shout was clear, and Daka has found it. 2 in the middle. Castagna is one, who's tried to be pulled back to Dennis Pratt. It's a clearance that falls straight to Yuri Tillemans. Mendy. Pratt to Jose Perez. 2 to the right, one is Amati. The other here is Castagna. He's hooked in the back by Seri. Fleming to Saad Manesh. Footwork from Ozan Tufan. Saad Manesh again, but as he tried to get the ball out of his feet, Timothy Castagna was on hand to pick up possession for the team in all blue.
Yeah, dealt with that pretty well. It just, if anything, there was too much tempo in that. Saad Manesh, you know, he's just slightly overrun it. Just got a head of steam up. He just needed to keep his composure and cool down there.
Amati. He's come some distance and he's got 3 up with him. That will be a foul. Not much of a disguise in the push from Jose Perez.
He's making them runs. He's made a couple of decent runs. I'd just like to see him a little bit more involved, Jose. When he's in a central position, he sort of comes and shows for the ball, but with no real conviction. But he's made a couple of decent runs down the outside, and he would have caused Hull a few issues.
Ended the season with a brace against Southampton, Jose Perez. I'm surprised that he scored against the Saints, 9 in 14 against particular opposition. Soyuncu, like Amati a moment ago, is almost allowed to just keep marauding forward. Vestergaard. Stanya looking down the line, but the options are all infield. Thomas doing his best to help out Soyuncu and Vestergaard there. A misplaced pass, and Soyuncu couldn't quite take the ball under control.
Just come under a bit of pressure there, didn't he? At least he got rid of it and didn't get caught out.
But Thomas has spent much of the half inside the whole half to defend at the moment. Thomas, who turned 21 last month. Ganging up on Estupiñán there, and eventually a free kick given the way of Hull City. 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Greaves. Here's McLaughlin in the centre of that back three. Switching it forward to Slater and receiving it back once again. England with a chip ball forward, but Soyuncu heading it back towards Pats and Daka. All of the other 10 outfield players have started their pre-match preparations, warming up on the side of the field, including Jamie Vardy. As McLaughlin angles the ball back to Ingram, who spent the last 2 games of last season on loan with Luton Town. It was an emergency loan. Conceded 7 on his Luton debut in a defeat at Fulham. Made up for it on the final day, a clean sheet in a 1-0 win against Reading. And Marty's header back to Everson. Spent the last season and a half on loan at Preston North End, the Danish goalkeeper. Also had a loan spell with Leuven the season before last. He's also been with Rotherham and Oldham. He's built up a real reputation, very highly rated, the Danish goalkeeper. Untroubled so far this evening. Pratt. Thomas is in space on the far side, his arm raised, but free kick given as Pratt is dragged to the ground.
Yeah, again, you just see him coming forward, and there's a pass on inside there. Just see Iuzi Perez's yellow boots, and that's the pass you want to see Iuzi receive from Dennis Pratt, but because there's no conviction in him wanting to receive it, Pratt takes that extra touch, another touch, and then gets fouled, when really it should be one touch out of your feet and drill that ball into Perez's.
Daka trying to get something on the Tillerman's free kick. Rosa Perez couldn't keep it in. You're right about the boots, Jerry. You won't miss them on a dark night.
Oh, they're green. They look yellow on the TV, but no, they're actually green. Wow. If those are sort of positions Iuzi's being asked to play, just coming off the front player, and they're the little link-up passes that get other players in.
I'm going to say yellowy green. Looking at it there, yeah. They do look a different colour on the monitor to what they do on the field. Another Hull free kick. Castagna bringing down Brandon Fleming.
This is the clip. Not too much in that.
Dewsbury born Fleming on the west side of Yorkshire. plying his trade in the east. Dangerous ball in, away by Luke Thomas.
It's good quality, isn't it? All have put a few decent set pieces into the box. And so far, Leicester standing firm, getting the first contact on the ball, which is vitally important when balls are coming into the box. You've got to be positive when you're attacking the ball, and on every occasion they have been.
Approaching the final 5 minutes of normal time. Louis Coyle with a Hull throw, formerly with Fleetwood and Leeds, and penalty appeal this time at the other end, as was the Leicester one, waved away. Greaves facing his own goal, and will use Matt Ingram. McLaughlin. Serry this time doesn't keep the ball as long with the Leicester players close by. Coyle on the far side. Looking for the more direct route, but that's comfortable for Daniel Everson. Mendy. Daka started to make the run immediately. Sayuncu offers an apology. Tielemans spotting the run of Castagna. He'll do well to get there. He just eventually rolls away from it.
Yeah, again, it's a lovely timed run from Castagna. Just slightly overhit from Tielemans.
Figueiredo disappointed with the options, has to use Coyle in the end. Leicester are pressing high up the field. It's back with Coyle, blocked by Thomas. It's an anywhere will do kind of clearance. Brendan Rodgers be satisfied so far, Jerry?
I think getting on the score sheet, definitely, yeah. I think he'll want a bit more. It's been comfortable for Leicester at times in this first half as regards to the amount of possession they've had in Old's half of the pitch, and not really created anything with it. So yeah, I'll be looking a bit more from his players in the final third, the link-up play in particular.
Greaves turns to look towards his goalkeeper, but sees Patson Daka lurking. He does manage to find McLaughlin, and then it's Figueiredo, and he's got plenty forward in white if he needs them. Coyle, Slater giving him the option on the line, and he's managed to squeeze the ball back to Coyle again. A cross that is comfortable for Pratt, but it's straight to Slater. Inside of Manesh, but his shot charged down. Tielemans' ball will eventually find Jose Perez. Daka gives it back to the Spaniard. Castagna's ball cut out by Estupinat. Greaves. Early ball from Fleming, gave us some backtracking for a moment. Thomas hooking the ball away from Coyle.
Again, good quality coming in from Hull. Left hand side, Everson, as you said, stretching, cannot get there. Luke Thomas does really well. He's just timed that clearance.
Thomas just caught out there though, with Coyle lurking behind him. Doing well to battle and tussle for the ball, and with the help of Youri Tielemans, Leicester Get the ball clear as McLaughlin steps away from Jose Perez and finds Greaves. Tufan. Ball has shown us 1 additional minute at the end of this first half. Figueiredo going long, straight to Soyuncu. Tillemans, swiftly closed down by Seri. Now Pratt. Mendy not giving this one up, and was fouled by Estepinam, but the referee blows for half-time, and Brendan Rodgers' side lead here against Hull City in their 3rd pre-season fixture of the summer campaign by 0-0. Patson Daka, the goal scorer, latching on to Jean-Michel Seri, holding the ball for too long. Dennis Pratt applying the initial pressure. Daka spotting the opportunity to steal the ball, and from the edge of the area, left-footed, had drilled it towards the top corner, and it's the only goal that separates the sides at the break. Brendan Rodgers will speak to the players that completed that first half. We'll see a new starting outfield 10 in the second half. Half-time, Hull City 0, Leicester City 1.
Because memories never fade, no matter how long. We'll still remember the moments of excitement and the impressions of Thailand. Amazing Thailand, now even more amazing.
Match day. It doesn't start when the whistle blows. It starts with the lucky pair and the lucky party. It starts with making room for the real special one. And with choosing who's on for 2 goals today. It starts with picking up your mate and everyone he lives with. It starts with the usual in the usual coffee house. Oh, and almost ends there. Don't want to leave those behind, eh? It starts with the walking, with the talking, and with that first glance of home. It starts with the next big thing. No, the next big thing. And maybe with a little nap for the tired one. It starts with a quick flick straight to the same player every week. With a quick tap on the way in, with a quick polish of a friend, and with a quick dash for the pies. It starts with finding a seat, with a deep breath of expectation, and with one last check. Here's to the highs, and to grabbing your share. FBS. always by your side.
Lamia is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece that's balanced and in harmony. This is the Lamia philosophy, brewed into every drop of Chang beer. This is the taste of Thai perfection. Chang beer. We brew friendship.
One 0 then to Leicester City at the break here in their third pre-season game against Hull City. Patson Daka, the goal scorer, and a chance to look back at that goal that gave Leicester the edge at half-time. And Jerry, you summed it up really. The assist in some ways going to Dennis Pratt, and then the finish from Patson Daka was sublime to say the least.
Yeah, some pressure here from Dennis Pratt, and the anticipation, plus obviously the finish from Patson Daka. But just here, watch him here, Daka. Bang, he knows he's going to take a touch back towards his own goal. Reads it, he's on the front foot. And he just sets himself on his left foot after that. You see the finish here. Good first touch, second touch to the say. And that's a lovely flight of ball into the top corner.
And we touched on it in the first half. Goals in back-to-back friendly games. It doesn't matter who the opposition is, but you can come into the season absolutely flying and full of confidence.
Absolutely. You know, as I said, scoring's a habit. It's the best habit you can have as a centre forward in particular. And that is a neat finish. That is a neat and tidy finish. Doesn't look too difficult, but the technique involved in that, no, I'm not saying it's a difficult technique, but you've got a split-second decision to make, whether to bring it onto your left foot and then shoot. And he's had the confidence to make his mind up nice and early and dispatch it into the back of that. So big confidence booster there.
If the work wasn't enough in the first half for the Leicester outfield 10, they're going through some more work now before they take a break. A few more Leicester chances during that first half, and maybe this was the early warning sign for Hull. Jerry, Patson Daka, wasn't too many options, but he certainly made the most of a shot from a very tight angle.
Yeah, it's a good run again, down the side of the centre half. Well found by Perez, and it's a tight angle. He's got to go for that far post. Just miscues it slightly, but he had to take that chance on. That was the only thing that was open to him, unless he wanted to go one-on-one with a defender.
Another chance came where Tielemans linking up with Jose Perez, and we looked long and hard. We saw a few replays, and maybe, I suppose the question was there enough contact? But Tielemans certainly thought there was.
Well, you know, you can see there he's got a hold of his shirt for at least a second, and for me that's enough to put you off your stride. And I'm sure if there was a VAR involved this evening, they'd come to the same conclusion as I did, that was a penalty, even if he's put him off by 1 or 2%.
One last chance, Adam Anesh, the striker, getting in the way of Matt Ingram, the goalkeeper, and Soyuncu in the end. Probably surprised it came to him, really. Couldn't get any real power on the header. Yeah,
bit of a mix-up between the keeper and a centre forward. And again, you know, as the ball comes to Soyuncu, probably does take him by surprise. You're absolutely spot on, because there's no real aggression. He doesn't really get off the ground that well, Soyuncu, to go and power that header into the back line net. So a bit of a half chance there.
Well, I was about to say the first half players are going for a well-earned cold shower, but a few of them giving some souvenirs to Hull City supporters. We will have a different outfield 10 for the second half. One of the outfield 10 coming on is Jonny Evans, and LCFC TV caught up with him earlier this week.
Jonny, firstly, how was the week in Evian, followed of course by that game in Leuven?
Yeah, it was a great week for us, and it's a good chance to get everyone sort of together and get the training in. I think that's the whole purpose of it, to sort of get everyone connecting again. And a little game at the end, we flew from Evian over to Brussels to play in that match against Leuven, and it turned out to be a good exercise in the end.
Ironically, it's probably hotter here right now doing this interview than it was actually in Evian, but a week training in that intense heat all together, there's no distractions, must be so helpful as a group.
Yeah, it is, and we worked hard. We most of the days we were there with double sessions, and in the evening doing workshops and around stuff that off the pitch and the mental side of the game. So it was pretty full on. We obviously had a day where we had a little bit of an excursion up Mont Blanc, which was really nice and an incredible experience to be a part of, and it turned out to be a great week.
And as you said, it finished with that game, a little bit of a rusty start, but an entertaining game for those of us that were there watching it. But I guess those mistakes and that rustiness is what pre-season is about.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been around quite a long time now, plenty of pre-seasons under my belt, and I think you learn through the years. You always take the games and be calm in them and get out of them what you can, and most of that is about getting your sharpness back and your fitness.
That was Jonny Evans, who will be appearing in the second half side that will be in front of us very shortly. Before that, competition time and a chance to win VIP tickets for Leicester City's opening home Premier League game against Brentford, which takes place on the 7th of August. So, to be in with a chance of winning 2 Brentford tickets in the Foss Club, you simply have to answer the following question. The Foxes have not lost against Brentford since 1953. Can you tell us how many games Leicester have gone unbeaten against the Bees? There are the options: 8, 9 or 10. And to be in with a chance of winning, simply answer the question by emailing competition@lcfc.co.uk. Question again: Foxes have not lost against Brentford since 1953. How many games unbeaten have the Foxes gone? Is it 8, is it 9 or is it 10? Email the answer to competition@lcfc.co.uk. So you're seeing the remaining players who will be coming on for the second half. You may have also saw a glimpse of Kasper Schmeichel down there, who returned to training after an extended break, and he's a watching spectator this evening. I'm sure he'll be back into the action very soon. In terms of the second half, then, Daniel Everson will continue in goal. Looks as though Leicester will revert to a back four of Ricardo, Fofana, Evans and Justin. In the midfield it will be Samore, Maddison, Dewsbury Hall, and a front three of Albrighton, Vardy and Barnes. So in some respects, Jerry, it's maybe the bigger names, the more glamorous names of the second half, and that will prove a test for the Hull side, who towards the end of their pre-season preparations won't be making wholesale changes, and we'll see that kind of fitness and how that will react in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that's the build-up that you have. Obviously Leicester still going through the games with 2 teams in each half, or 2 teams for each half, should I say. Hull slightly different. They're gearing up. Their season starts a bit early. Some players are probably playing 90 minutes tonight for them. Some will play 60, some will play 70, and you'll see that happen with Leicester as well. We'll go through pre-season, and then you get to the Seville game. You'll probably see the team that Brendan would most likely want to start against Brentford in the kick-off to the season. But yeah, as I say, they're still sticking with this, a half each for each player.
The Leicester subs in the second half, we can see there Callum Wright, Sammy Braybrook, Jakub Stolarczyk going through some warm-ups with Leicester's first-team coach, Kolo Touré. Callum Wright was on loan with Cheltenham for the last season and a half and got some rave reviews during his time with the League One club. Likewise, Jakub Salarčic's there just behind him. Spent the end of last season on loan with Dunfermline. And Sammy Braybrook, a real talent, really shone last season for the development squad and a key figure of the Leicester City under-18, or the England under-18 side. So they're the substitutes. They may be called into action during the second half. And Kolo Toure, Jerry, he's enjoying himself. Big smile on his face, just loving being back on the field and kicking the ball around with the youngsters.
Yeah, you can't beat it, can you? It's just showing them a little trick or two, you know, just letting them know that he's still got a bit in the locker, doing the kicky-ups there. I'm not sure he's been, you know, on the weights or on the treadmill much, though, from being honest, but I suppose he's earned it, what he's done in the game.
He's had a good summer, we'll go with that. Haven't we all? He's certainly got a sweat on as well, as the competition intensifies. Who's going to be the first one not to keep the ball up? But it's a big experience for these youngsters, the likes of Callum Wright. There we go, it was Sammy Braybrook, the last one to not keep the ball up. But Braybrook and Callum Wright, they've been in and out, they've been involved with the first team squad. Callum Wright has had that experience away on loan, and they've got to take these little chances, the glimpse that Brendan Rodgers will have of them, and they've got to take all of those chances that come their way.
Yeah, it's always an honour when you're a young lad and you're being asked to go and train or be part of the match day squad. You know, you're playing with some very, very talented players, and for you to be called up and join the first team squad, you know, it means you must have something about you. So again, it's a confidence builder for them. They're experiencing how the first team go about their business individually in the dressing room, even or in the hotel before a game, how certain players, you know, prepare for a match. So it's all, you know, a learning experience for these young lads.
Don't want to put pressure on the graphics, lads, but we could maybe have a counter going on in the corner as this game unfolds in front of us. Kolo Toure is certainly enjoying himself. In terms of the game, in terms of the first half, and we're going to see that change of fortune. We're going to go from a back three to a back five, but we've seen Brendan Rodgers loves to change formation, sees his opportunities where a back three will work against the back four. Have you seen the game so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, it's something that Brendan's always had since he's come into the club, his options, formation options. And this is obviously going to be a new formation for the second half. It probably is his most preferred formation. Obviously he does have the 4-2-3-1 as well. But especially when he first came into the club, he favoured the 4-3-3 with the two number 8s and the one sitting. So Tielemans in particular, I think, suits the 4-2-3-1 formation because he can move forward with a ball and he sees everything in front of him. So it'll be interesting to see how, with Keenan Dewsbury Hall in there, who obviously loves getting forward, loves getting on the end of things, see how it pans out for him in this second half.
Hull have emerged first, and glancing at the numbers on the back of the shirts, it looks like the same 11 that started the game will start the second half, whereas the full Leicester outfield 10 have all been changed at half-time. Daniel Everson remains in goal, long-serving Mark Albrighton amongst the 10 that have come in, and Wesley Fofana also involved. So here is the Leicester 11 for the second half. Everson in goal, Ricardo Fofana, Evans and Justin as that back four. Samare alongside Maddison and Dewsbury Hall in midfield. Albrighton, Vardy and Barnes as a Leicester City front three. A couple of players, Jerry, who ended last season on absolute fire. James Maddison and Jamie Vardy, between them couldn't stop scoring. Maddison in particular, I think he ended the season 4 in 4, 18 goals in total, assists all over the place. And he'll be looking to, probably didn't want the season to end, but he'll be looking to find that form again early this campaign.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you finish the season in that manner, the way James did, you could say it's pretty hard to improve on that when you're a midfielder. There's not a lot more James Maddison could have done last season. Double figures for both goals and assists. So yeah, for him, the benchmark is, can he replicate that first and foremost, or get somewhere near the 18 goals?
He's in the midfield alongside the impressive Keenan Dewsbury Hall as well, along with Maddison took home most, if not all, of the end-of-season honours at the Player of the Year awards nights. Vardy is offside. Was busily closing down the goalkeeper, who couldn't quite get back on before the ball came his way.
Well, I don't know how he can be offside, because it was a back pass from a Hull player. So the assistant referee on that far side has got that completely wrong. All right, the shot's gone wide anyway, but you can't be offside if the ball is going back as own goal from the opposition player.
Vardy poised on the 18-yard line, ready for the short free kick. The Hull defenders seeing sense and departing from that area. Hull free kick that Ozan Tufan. Everson claiming. Here's Ricardo. Hoping and praying for an injury-free season after the last couple of seasons he's had. Samare bursting through midfield, great strength. Then finding Harvey Barnes. James Justin joining in. Barnes' shot is into the back of the net. Well, another player who has scored already in this pre-season with the goal against Notts County. And a shot from the angle there has started this second half off in some style. Ingram is beaten, maybe via a deflection. But what a start to the second half Leicester City have had. And it's a goal by Harvey Barnes after a lung-bursting run from Bouba Samare.
Yeah, just wait to see this. Just a little deflection, isn't it, off Coyle? But it all starts with Samari picks the ball up, plays a lovely little give and go with James Maddison, and then, as you say, it's not the full-back, it's a centre half, actually, isn't it? It comes off. Figueiredo. Samari does fantastically well. It's a tight angle. It's not really on the shoot, really, you would say, for Harvey. But you never know until you try, and as you say, it takes that deflection, it's in the back of the net.
Free kick with Ricardo fouled. And Samare, like Daka, joined last summer. Lost that season of acclimatising, and he played a key part there, bursting forward, shaking off the challenges, and Harvey Barnes, via that slight deflection off the former Forest man Figueiredo. But it'll be Barnes' goal, that's for certain. And now he's looking to try and assist another. Figueiredo, this time his touch sees the ball away for a corner.
You can see straight away, John, at the beginning of the second half, the fluency in the passing and the movement. Taking nothing away from the guys who started the game, but the tempo's just lifted automatically at the beginning of the second half.
Deflection that went for a corner came off the nose of Figueiredo. Just asked the ref for a brief second to reclaim his thoughts. Spent 4 years with Nottingham Forest, formerly with Sporting. James Maddison making friends with the Hull City fans before delivering the corner. A couple of players on the ground, both claiming the foul. It was Fofana and Greaves. It's Mark Albrighton. There's 4 forward. Evans. Maddison swinging dangerously. That's a corner. It was Greaves who flung himself towards the ball, and how vital a touch could that have been?
Again, great quality here from Maddison. It's Wesley Fofana making that late run into the box, and as you say, Greaves just flings himself at it. Great defending from him to make sure that ball doesn't go into the back of the Hull net again.
A slightly warmer reception for James Maddison on that side of the field in front of a group of Leicester fans. Short corner. Albrighton's ball in, deflected off Estupinan, and it will be another Leicester corner. The short one not quite working. Jamie Vardy ended last season with 5 goals in his last 4 Premier League games. It's gone short again, this time out to Ricardo. Away by Greaves. James Justin will send the ball back from where it came. It's Albrighton and Maddison again. It's Maddison tiptoeing his way past the challenges, and Fofana with a header off the post. And Leicester are blowing Hull City away at the start of this second half. 2 goals in the opening 5.5 minutes. James Maddison ended last season as a creator and a goal scorer supreme. And in pre-season, he set the cross up there. And it's Wesley Fofana, the Frenchman, with a header off the post to score Leicester's 3rd of the evening.
It's great footwork, isn't it, from Maddison? Little dink cross. Fofana, he's up early, isn't he? Just gets up the earliest. Hull defender can't get anywhere near the ball because of that. It's a simple finish in the end, but Maddison supreme with his ability.
Fofana famously returned and scored a crucial goal in Rennes.
Just talk about, you know, we're talking about Elsie Perez in the first half. Okay, he's playing a slightly different role to Maddison. But it's just about that desire to get on the ball and make things happen, which wasn't quite there in the first half from a Leicester City point of view.
Figueiredo fouled by Dewsbury Hall. Hull have barely, if at all, got out of their own half in this second half. Such has been Leicester's dominance of the game. Fofana looking to make up for lost time after that horrific pre-season injury last year. Returned with that goal in mid-March. Started 3 of the last 4 Premier League games. Turns 22 in December, and there's a fair chance if he stays fit and stays firing, he'll be part of the French World Cup squad in Qatar. Ingram taking the risk against Jamie Vardy. Evans dumping Estupiñán on the ground. Colombian back on his free kick taken too quickly.
Again, the tempo, as soon as Jamie Vardy comes on the pitch, the tempo of the game just lifts. It's a great learning curve for any young player. And Patson Daka, you know, again, these are the types of things he's got to bring to his game on a regular basis.
Vardy will be lurking again here as Ingram this time opts to clear it first time. Flag raised. Barnes to Dewsbury Hall, 2 academy products who link up so well down the left, maybe not on that occasion. Pre-season rustiness, we'll put that one down to. Almost 6 years since Leicester City last played here at what is now known as the MKM Stadium. It was the opening day of the 2016-17 season. Leicester arrived as Premier League champions. Hull had just been promoted. Hull winning by 2 goals to 1. There's a Riyad Mahrez penalty to make it 1-1. Robert Snodgrass scoring the winner. There was a bizarre opener for Hull. 2 players both going for an overhead kick. Both got a touch. Schmeichel and Vardy started that game. Mark Albrighton was on the bench. I still think of this stadium as a new stadium, but it will celebrate its 20th birthday towards the end of this year. It's opened in December 2002 with a friendly, Hull beating Sunderland. Figueiredo might not get there because Vardy is so sharp. 3 inside the penalty area. Space for Albrighton on the far side. Ricardo coming across to assist. Albrighton was caught off the ball. Referee saying no. Saddam Manesh making a run down the left, and he's shown Samari a clean pair of heels, and Hull for the first time in the second half got an attacking threat and winning the first corner of the second half for the home side.
Good attacking play, does really well, just little side dummy, but what Samari doesn't give it up, and that's a great challenge right at there to concede the corner. Well done, Samari.
Seri will take the corner, everyone back in blue. Swung in field, it's that man Samari again, a header to the edge of the box. Slater thought about taking it first time, but Evans in his way. This is Coyle. Everson again claiming well.
Good positive keeping. Dangerous ball headed back into the middle of the box, but it's always great to see your keeper as a centre-half making his mind up nice and early. Come and collect that.
Hull are missing their top 3 scorers from last season. Keane Lewis Potter moving for big money to Brentford. Tom Eaves has moved to Rotherham. George Honeyman has gone to Millwall. The latter two both scored 5. Keane Lewis Potter scored 12. The hope will be from Shota Arveladze is the new recruits will score just as many, if not more, than the 3 departing players. Maddison, no fear of him not scoring if last season is to be the benchmark. Cushion ball from James Justin to Jonny Evans. Had 4 90-minute games for Northern Ireland during June. Jonny Evans, his season extended as well, up to 91 caps now for his country. Justin, Barnes ahead of it. Dewsbury Hall making a run. In the end, a cross that was too high, too long for anybody, including Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, that was a pre-season cross, John, that one. Seen the run of Vardy, so good early cross in the box, exactly the right thing to do. Just slightly off the pace.
Maddison. Dewsbury Hall did well to recover that one. Looked as though Tufan would come away with it. Ricardo just trying to curl the ball towards Maddison. Seri dispossessed by Samari. That's a shot, and that's a very good save from Matt Ingram. Just sat up on the edge of the area, invited to shoot, and shoot he did.
That's a great effort. Does well, he nicks it. That's a great strike with his weaker left foot as well from Samari.
Ricardo looking to the far side where the corner was initially taken. Unable to find Albrighton, but it will be a Leicester throw.
Again, he started the game well, Samari. Looks like he's got the bit between his teeth. Big, strong, tracking back, bombing forward, lung busting runs. Great strike on goal.
James Justin in the central area. Now Barnes. Albrighton making his way to the back post. Nearly came his way. Seri didn't quite make the contact. That was a very heavy challenge. It's James Maddison that's been caught on his knee. Hopefully not too serious. talking to, and looks as though James Maddison will be okay.
Yeah, well, he just missed times his touch, doesn't he, Surrey? It just comes away from him, and Maddison's obviously going in to pick it up, and he's scrambling. And it's more of a lunge than a clean challenge, and the referee's in a good position to give that.
He fancies chances from here, James Maddison. Maybe that's why he very quickly bounced back to his feet.
He didn't want Dewsbury Hall getting on it before him.
Maddison will be the favourite. It's a hefty Hull wall. Some of the taller players have been added to it. The doorstop behind. It takes that kind of tactic to stop James Maddison. And it's just wide of the post. He knew it was close. The immediate reaction, looked to the skies. And applause from the fans that cheered so many goals of his last season.
Typical technique for Maddison, up and over and back down again. Just never on target, was it?
Mentioned he got 4 goals in his last 4 Premier League games of last season, 3 assists in those 4 games as well. Leicester's leading goal scorer with 18, 12 of them coming in the Premier League. His best ever goal scoring season, beating the previous best, which was 15 during his season with Norwich in the Championship. Coyle. Barnes coming across to halt the run of the former Fleetwood right back. Much more relaxed look of Brendan Rodgers on a pre-season game, training shirt and shorts, not quite the dapper suited look we are used to seeing. Not really suit weather, still very warm this evening.
It's just a more clean, crisp feel to the second half with the passing, isn't it? More assured, sharper in every department.
Greaves just stepping in to take the ball before it came to Maddison. He's in his more favoured number 10 position tonight, with Samari and Dewsbury Hall working behind him. James Justin, who made his England debut during the summer. Fortunately ended in defeat to Hungary, but still a huge occasion for the former Luton full-back in his 3rd season now as a Leicester player. Maddison. Barnes looking for the link-up with Dewsbury Hall. Vardy started to make the run, and Samare may have spotted him. Flag raised. Defies his age year by year. Jamie Vardy will be 35 in January. Still runs around like a 15-year-old.
I was going to say, he looks properly sharp, doesn't he?
If you've not seen Vardy and Maddison in conversation on the golf course in Evian, well worth a look on the LCFC website. Looking back at his 10 years of being a Leicester City player. Barnes, good skill, and then was blocked by Coyle. Mark Albrighton started the run, then stopped as he's drifted into an offside position. Great ball, Maddison, squeezing through a number of Hull players, and Vardy, as sharp as ever, was not too far away.
It's great combination play. Madison just makes a little inside run. Sublime first touch. And Vardy complements that by making an outside run. Just slightly overhead.
Third place in the Leicester City scoring charts, Jamie Vardy. He's a good 100 and something away from Arthur Rowley in second. Won't have to play until he's 45 to get that close. 133 Premier League goals, 14th position. He's 11 off Robin van Persie in 13th. Barnes shakes off Seri. Albrighton. He's looking for Vardy. A left-footed volley over the bar. But the build-up again was impressive. Barnes was involved. And it receives applause from the manager. Leicester looking sharp.
Again, decision making on the ball is done so much quicker in the second half. This time it's Albrighton, spots a run of Vardy. Delicious pass from Albrighton to find Vardy. He just can't keep his volley down.
Scored in Leuven. Fancies chances of grabbing one tonight. Reeves bursting forward, and he might get something from this. Makes the challenge, but it will be a goal kick. But in making the challenge, Wesley Fofana has stayed down. What he doesn't want is consecutive pre-season injuries.
Didn't have too much in it, to be honest, but from the reaction he's given, it doesn't look too good, does it?
His Achilles, the back of his ankle. We will see a replay.
It's a trailing leg or the top of his leading leg that catches Fofana's foot from Greaves.
Medical staff have been called for, which has given Brendan Rodgers a chance to talk with a handful of players who have come over for an impromptu drinks break. The rest of the players are over towards Wesley Fofana. Hull are back to make a double change. Certainly the left ankle. Fofana was trying to get his boot off. Shota Avalati making his first couple of changes of this second half. He's looking a bit emotional, Wesley Fofana, but he is getting the boot back on. And there'll be a huge relief if he continues to play. Likewise, no point risking anything at this stage of the summer preparations.
No, there's not. But you want to get minutes into your legs. You know, you really do. And this is a good game to do that for Wesley.
Passendaka got the goal scoring underway. And the half-hour mark in the first half.
There we go, John. Commentator's nightmare. Multiple substitutions.
Yeah, particularly when number 22 isn't on the team sheet. I hope the PA announcer knows who that is. Tyler Smith is number 22. Just two changes. We can deal with that, Jerry. We're okay.
You got off lightly there, John.
Yeah. There is a risk of multiple subs next season in the Premier League. 5 will be allowed for both teams, although they do have to take place in blocks of changes. You can't make 5 individual changes. Fofana is on the ball, clearly on the pitch, and seems to be moving relatively freely. Leicester fans can breathe a huge sigh of relief. Broke his leg in the final pre-season game before last season. He didn't return until March. He might be called into action here. Tyler Smith looking for his first touch since arriving. Referee thought about playing the advantage, then didn't, despite Tyler Smith knocking the ball into an empty net. Everyone else had given up. It will be a Hull free kick, but a strange decision by the referee.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a free kick, but Hull have a decent advantage. You know, a chance to put the ball into the box. For some strange reason, yet again tonight, the referee blows the whistle when he's absolutely no need to.
Does present a set-piece opportunity for Hull. Seri is over the ball. Greaves will be a target, so to Sadah Manesh. Seri has taken all of Hull's set-pieces so far this evening. Figueiredo an option as well. It's Greaves, he just couldn't quite get there, but he was offside. Had made the run just slightly too early.
Yeah, lovely flight of ball in. It's just Wesley Fofana just gets caught underneath the ball. Doesn't know where Greaves is. Again, just a moment of concern there, John. Greaves found himself in lots of space. Should have really have put that in the back of the net.
Evans to Fofana. Hull looking to press the Frenchman, but he can deal with that. Might need Ricardo to help him though. And in the end, it'll be a goal kick.
Good pressure from Hull. And Wesley showing a nifty bit of footwork there, but not able to shirk the challenges from Hull. And in the end, we'll come away with a goal kick. But that's better from Hull. Just raise the tempo slightly there.
Everson's chipped ball to Ricardo. Back to the Portuguese. Looking to have the same impact on the opening day against Brentford as he did last season in the home game against Wolves. That unbelievable piece of skill that even now when you watch back you're not quite sure how he's got beyond the Wolves players and set up the chance that Jamie Vardy finished for an opening day victory. James Justin. Maddison drops into space, forward ahead of him. This is Barnes. Dewsbury Hall has joined the attack as well. Maddison spotting Ricardo. So many forward in blue, but Ricardo couldn't quite nudge the pass forward. Maybe Samare can. Albrighton, Samare again. Final touch was off the former Aston Villa player. Albrighton about to embark on his 9th season as a Leicester player after 6 years with the Villains. Risky again from Ingram. Now Slater. Fofana is definitely shaken off that injury.
That's a great challenge from Wesley Fofana there. Good play again from Hull down that left-hand side.
Just a reminder, with 15 minutes to go, there is a trophy at stake tonight, the Corendon Airlines Cup. In its first season of inception, they're looking to make it a regular thing here at Hull. If do Hull mount seems an unlikely comeback. If it does end a draw, we will have a penalty shootout, but Leicester looking more than comfortable after those 2 goals at the start of the second half. Harvey Barnes was quick off the mark, and James Justin spotting the opportunity. Well covered by Louis Coyle. Leicester changed all of their outfield players at the break. Hull have only made 2 substitutions throughout the game, under the summer heat here in Humberside. A very warm evening. Louis Coyle probably feeling the heat a little bit.
It's for the rare though, Dan, isn't it? We're cramped.
Look on his feet. He's taken one in the nose as well tonight, so not his best evening. After receiving treatment, it will be Figueiredo to leave the field for a moment. James Justin about to take the throw. Short to Barnes, it was high, but he's managed to feed it back to James Justin. It's a risky ball back into the penalty area. Albrighton was sharp, couldn't quite find Jamie Vardy. All looking for a quick break. Tyler Smith on the chase. Fofana dealing with it, and Vardy finding Samore. Just expected him to drive forward there as he did early in the game, but check back. Leicester still have it. Barnes. James Justin in the penalty area alongside Vardy. Barnes just can't quite trick his way. Well, Louis Coyle. Everson out to Ricardo. Madison taking the ball on the turn. James Justin again moving infield. Barnes outside of it. Sliding challenge from Coyle, and the last touch was off Harvey Barnes, meaning he'll have a throw.
I just needed a bit more on that pass from James Justin. Good idea, just a little bit more pace on it.
Bit of afters there between Sean McLaughlin and Jamie Vardy. McLaughlin blocking the run of Leicester's number 9, Vardy trying to have some afters. Samore did well to get there before Tyler Smith. Signed at the start of last season from Sheffield United. Madison. Dewsbury Hall, Madison running alongside him. Fouled by Doherty, former Glasgow Rangers midfielder. And a couple of changes on the way. One of them a former Leicester player, Callum Elder. And another Smith, Andy Smith, joining Tyler Smith. There's Callum Elder, the Australian. Didn't play a first team professionally for Leicester, did play in a number of pre-season games over a few years. Now in his 4th season with Hull after joining them from Leicester. Initially joined the Foxes in the academy in 2013. Terry is the man to come off. Already seems a huge hit with the Hull fans. First job is to face up to a free kick that Madison nearly cheekily found Jamie Vardy with.
Very inventive, to say the least. Going with the outside of the right foot down the inside when he was shaping up he'll have a shot or put that ball, up to the back post.
Ricardo doing well to find opposite fullback James Justin. Spoiled for choice in fullback areas. Brendan Rodgers with everybody fit. Samare, it's a lovely ball out to Albrighton, who just couldn't bring it under control, and he couldn't keep it in play either. Again, that pre-season rustiness, just looking for that extra sharpness that I'm sure these players will have come the 7th of August for the big kick-off at home to Brentford.
Yeah, again, lovely flight of pass from Bouba Samare to find Albrighton.
It's a reminder of the double header on Saturday. Both games live on LCFC TV. 1 o'clock kick-off. One Leicester team will be at Derby. And then at 3 o'clock, it's the other team who will be in the northwest to take on Preston North End. And the final pre-season game, 31st of July, a 6 p.m. kick-off at King Power Stadium against Sevilla. Tickets on sale. Samare to Evans. Now Barnes. Samare. Ricardo dancing out the way. Albrighton with a crossing opportunity, but uses Dewsbury Hall. Defenders lining up on that 18-yard line, and now there's a chance of a break with Tyler Smith. Away to the far side is Alia Sadamanesh, but he won't keep the ball in play.
It's a superb pass, isn't it, from Smith? Good run from Aliash. Probably should have given him 2 touches earlier as well. And in the end, he's got to be doing better than that.
Jonny Evans with the long ball. It's Greaves bringing it down for Hull. Ball falling for Dewsbury Hall. Maddison looking for it. Brilliant skill. James Maddison might go alone. Does go alone. Brilliant goal by James Maddison. Just continuing the form that he ended the season with. Sublime skill, wonderful balance and control, and then a finish into the bottom corner to score Leicester's 4th goal of the evening.
Spot on, John. Lovely little piece of skill here. And then the balance, as you said, feint to go one way, then go on the outside. Clinical, but this bit of skill here, fantastic. And you can tell already in this pre-season, he's got the bit between his teeth. He's probably, as regards to getting to the World Cup is concerned, his odds are pretty long, to say the least. But by golly, is he going to try and close them odds in? And we show some real class this evening.
Another change for Hull. Randall Williams is coming on, replacing captain Louis Coyle. Joined from Exeter at the start of last season, was formerly with Crystal Palace and Watford in their academies. His last league appearance last season was all the way back in January. Tyler Smith on the shoulder of Fofana. Fofana making the clearance. Tyler Smith, that's a good chance, but he just couldn't fling his body towards the ball in an accurate manner, and it's away from him and out for a goal kick.
Again, just an injection of pace from holding the play there. Leicester, for a moment, were just struggling to cope with the pace that they injected into it. Again, just a few warning signs, isn't there, on the back of what has been a pretty emphatic performance.
Evans taking a leaf out of Matt Ingram's book at the other end, just holding the ball too long. He was closed down by Doherty, deflected away for a goal kick.
Just seemed to struggle a little bit with the ball at his feet there, Everson.
It's a giant kick towards Jamie Vardy. Smith. Andy Smith as opposed to Tyler Smith, the two substitutes. And this is towards Tyler Smith, but Fofana is in the way again. Dewsbury Hall onto Harvey Barnes. That's lovely skill, brilliant from Barnes. A sharp turn away from Andy Smith, and he's leaving him trailing in his wake, and he's took a kick out there, Andy Smith, and he's clipped the heels of Harvey Barnes, and a free kick rightly given.
Again, we just see some great individual play, especially with the backs of goal. First by Maddison, this time by Harvey Barnes, facing their own goal and being able to wriggle out those little tight situations. And it's a good free kick to give away, you have to say, from the whole defender. Harvey Barnes was away and he wasn't coming back.
Maddison and Dewsbury Hall over the ball. It's Maddison, he's decided to go himself, brimming with confidence. And in a pre-season game with 2.5 minutes to go and 4-0 up, why not?
Yeah, again, just tightening up those free kick skills, isn't he, James, at the minute?
Slight delay as we wait for the ball to be returned from the stands. Albrighton nearly into Vardy. First chance to stretch his legs for Randell Williams. Joined by a number of players. Jonny Evans sending one skywards. Williams jumping but unable to make contact. James Justin. Callum Elder stood on his foot. Painful. Here's Samari. Seems to have shaken it off. Switch of play out to Albrighton. Leicester slowing things down as we go into the final 60 seconds of normal time. Maddison dropping deep into Samari and Dewsbury Hall. Now Justin. Dewsbury Hall again. Uses Barnes. Just looking to just roll the ball invitingly for Maddison. There was the slightest of touches from a Hull player that took it away from a shooting chance. Here's Callum Elder. Andy Smith. And there is full time. Leicester's third pre-season game ends in their first victory of the summer campaign, blowing Hull away. They led 1-0 at the break thanks to Pats and Daka, but they started the second half on fire. Harvey Barnes scoring just a few minutes after the start of the second half. Wesley Fofana with a header off the post to make it 3. And then the goal of the evening was scored by James Maddison 7 minutes from time with some wonderful skill. And a fantastic finish as Leicester head towards the double header at the weekend with this 4-0 victory. Jerry Taggart alongside me throughout the evening. Second half in particular, Jerry, was convincing to say the least.
Yeah, we were talking at half-time about how do you think Brendan would have felt, and I said, yeah, getting on the score sheet, excellent, getting on the score sheet in that first half, but the tempo and the interplay, he probably would have seen a bit more. Well, I got that in the second half in abundance. I thought the lads on the pitch looked as sharp as I've seen them at this stage of pre-season. The interplay, the quickness of their decision-making was really good, and obviously the finishing to match all that, to finish it all off was excellent, and in particular, as you say, James Maddison centre stage yet again.
We're going to have a short break, but stick with us because we'll have some analysis from Matt and Dan. We'll also have a trophy presentation, and we hope to hear from Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers. Full time here, Hull 0, Leicester City 4.
Because memories never fade, no matter how long. We'll still remember the moments of excitement and the impressions of Thailand. Amazing Thailand, now even more amazing.
Match day. It doesn't start when the whistle blows. It starts with the lucky pair and the lucky party. It starts with making room for the real special one. And with choosing who's on for 2 goals today. It starts with picking up your mate and everyone he lives with. It starts with the usual in the usual coffee house. Oh, and almost ends there. Don't want to leave those behind, eh? It starts with the walking, with the talking, and with that first glance of home. It starts with the next big thing. No, the next big thing. And maybe with a little nap for the tired one. It starts with a quick flick straight to the same player every week. With a quick tap on the way in, with a quick polish of a friend, and with a quick dash for the pies. It starts with finding a seat, with a deep breath of expectation, and with one last check. Here's to the highs, and to grabbing your share. FBS, always by your side.
Leicester is the belief that perfection lies within the details, where the finest ingredients deserve the finest craftsmanship. In every pursuit of perfection, there is passion and perseverance, where attention to detail inspires a masterpiece that's balanced and in harmony. This is the Leicester philosophy, brewed into every drop of Chang beer. This is the taste of Thai perfection. Chang beer. We brew friendship.
start of their season, perfectly fine. Leicester, in terms of their
1-2.
overall, you have to say.
Welcome along to Pre-season Live for the post-match reaction here after Leicester City's 4-0 victory in their third pre-season game this evening over Hull City. Matt Elliott, what did you make of that? We'll have to use this mic again. We're having a few technical issues. Pop that one down. What did you make of that? A comfortable win in the end for the Foxes?
Yeah, I think so, as the scoreline suggests. It, the back three, I hesitate to say second team, but a different 11, and flipped it on its head a bit. And what some people may look at is, at this stage, the first team coming on in the second period just cruised through it, didn't they? And Hull didn't really have the answers, and Leicester didn't have to really exert themselves. In fact, there's an element of it which I don't know, perhaps Brendan would think he wished it had been a tougher workout because it would tested the players and made the work harder for them. But some good goals, some good play, very efficient out there, lots of positives, particularly in the second half, I thought.
Yeah, as you said yourself there, they made it look comfortable, didn't they?
Particularly in that
second half. The 11 that came on during that second half really did show their class, didn't they? The likes of James Maddison. We'll get to the goals in a moment, but the likes of James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, really showed their quality.
Yeah, I think it was from the off, wasn't it? And obviously Harvey Barnes scoring, albeit with a deflection early on. It just, rocked Hull back, didn't it? But Daka there, I mean, Leicester didn't test Hull's goalkeeper too often, but good pressure, good work. Dennis Pratt initially, and then Daka doubling up. Daka struggled to sort of make any real headway in advanced positions, but when his one and only opportunity came along, partly produced by his own endeavour, he tucked it away beautifully, didn't he, really? And, edge of the box, didn't just panic, didn't just fire it towards goal, picked his spot, bent it, curled it. He'll be delighted with that finish.
And then we see the next one, the second half. You talked a bit about Harvey Barnes, didn't you, earlier, and the quality that he showed, albeit he gets a little bit of luck, doesn't he, with the deflection, but it's the class again that was shown in that second half.
It's slightly fortunate. I mean, Sumare, plenty of good points when he came on the field of play. I thought he was very fortunate there, to be honest, Harvey, because the defender's got himself in a half-decent position, distracted by the underlap run of James Justin, you have to say as well. So good endeavour by him. But where Harvey wanted to go, fast stick, the avenue was blocked. And then he tried to curl it fast stick, and the secondary defenders at the deflection, keeper no chance.
Well, we're going to cut these highlights short quickly now because we've got Brendan Rodgers joining us live here on Pre-season Live on LCFC TV. Brendan, what did you make of that?
Yeah, very, very pleased. I think firstly from a fitness perspective, I think you just see the speed of the team just coming up each day and obviously each game. But really pleased with how tactically we played in both halves. We played two different systems and the players played the systems very, very well. So we need that adaptability, flexibility in the, but also we show great quality tonight.
Is that what pre-season is for? Is it for making sure that the systems are up to scratch for whatever 11 it might be, whatever formation you choose to play?
Yeah, I just think it's just reconnecting with all of that. But the main bulk is getting is obviously getting that physical fitness. So now over the next few weeks we'll start to build on our speed and strength element physically, and lots to work on still tactically. But a real good demonstration tonight, as I said, from both teams, and I was really, really pleased to play that way against their systems, which can be difficult, but players did very well.
There were moments of quality throughout, not just the goals, but elsewhere as well. But I'm sure the goals in particular really impressed you.
Yeah, especially the first one. Patson's loose with his touch, but impulsively we just keep saying to the players, doesn't matter, you have a bad touch, make a mistake, just get on with it. And you see he recovered the ball straight afterwards, and then he finished really, really well. So yeah, goals were very, very good build-up play, but everything was connected. And I was really pleased with, as I said, some of the tactical things we've been working on, especially with the second half team. Some of the areas we're looking to get into with full-backs, with the number 8s, just pushes us higher up the pitch where we can be more aggressive. But yeah, with and without the ball, it was a pleasing night.
And game number 3 done now, particularly off the ball. Can you see the fitness levels starting to get up to where you would like them to be?
Yeah, I think I said before Saturday's game, I think the group is at 2 different speeds. The guys that have been in longer and the guys that have just come back. So for both teams to get that 45 minutes was really good for them in the big space. And then we'll build into Saturday now, where the players will get 90 minutes and over the course of 2 games.
A final point on Saturday, how will that work with both the squads going to both Derby and Preston?
Yeah, I'll be going to Preston with the team, and Chris will take the Derby team. So we just always assess after the game, see medically where the players are at. But they'll come in, do some more work tomorrow, Friday, and like I say, we continue with our preparation.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Best of luck for this week, and see you on Saturday. Cheers. Well done. That was Brendan Rodgers there, of course, with us on Pre-Season Live here on LCFC TV. Matt, what did you have to make of what Brendan Rodgers had to say there? Obviously, he spoke in depth about on and off the ball in particular. He's starting to be impressed now with what his side are doing. 3 games in, as we've said, they should now be getting towards that level.
Yeah, I think he can see the evidence is there. Just slowly sort of cranking it up a notch, bit by bit. It's not going to be a stark difference from one game to another. And quite an interesting point he mentions there, that maybe ourselves and other people forget. Different players are coming in at different points, and they've had a longer rest, some than others. Others have been away international, the likes of Castle Schmeichel, not even featuring it yet. So I know obviously he's not an outfield player, but you look at it and it's just getting everyone into that sort of similar groove, isn't it? Be looking to that's the main purpose, I think, of the dual games at the weekend. One way or another, everyone will be pretty much balanced out, and then you'll be looking at somewhere close to what will be a starting lineup against Villarreal, and that they'll get probably minimum 60 minutes or so, and then before we know it, it's kick-off time in the Premier League, isn't it? So I think what he saw tonight against opposition like Hull, I think you're probably expecting more from them, but then I suppose you can look at that and flip that and say, well, that's how comfortable Leicester made it look. It's just some good signs there. Everyone looked comfortable enough within their roles, different systems, etc. I don't think there were hugely outstanding performances, but there were lots of decent performances there, and no one throughout the course of the whole game has done themselves any harm.
Before we were politely interrupted by Brendan Rodgers there for that interview, we were looking at the goals, of course. We got up to the 3rd goal, didn't we, Matt? And again, a moment of quality.
Yeah, certainly was. I mean, I was just speaking to you, wasn't I, as we were watching the game off air, and the ball was put in, and Harvey Barnes could have been a bit more aggressive on the initial ball in, and I was questioning his position in that, because it's not his forte. But as it was played back to Maddison, dinked it to the far post area, didn't he? And you could sense that something was going to happen. Barnes may not be particularly proficient aerially, but Wesley Fofana is. It was a wonderful leap. Good delivery, nice height and flight, nice pace, but what a finish. And he gives that extra ability to Leicester, doesn't he? But talking about quality, that man again, Maddison, and no surprise to see him producing probably the moment of the match, I would say. Yes, Hull were tiring, a little bit downbeat, looking towards the final whistle, but nicely slid past from Dewsbury Hall. Maddison always aware, and see that little look beforehand as it came to him. He knows the defender's on his way. Boom, little touch, he's gone. Once he's in that position, there's very little doubt, is there?
Yeah, it is that moment of quality, like you said. Jerry Taggart on commentary mentioned that World Cup squad in December. Brendan Rodgers, I don't know if you were with us post-match for Leuven on Saturday, whether you were there at that point or not, but Brendan Rodgers has said in his, 4 years now nearly here, this is the best he's seen James Maddison. This is the sharpest he's seen James Maddison, and we've seen the fruits of that on the pitch this evening. Like you said, I mean, on the half turn, he knows where the defenders are. A brilliant, brilliant goal that was.
Yeah, top class player, but obviously Brendan would know a lot more than me. He sees James Maddison up close and personal every day. But I've just seen some clips of him going through his efforts, his pre-season work, and you see the evidence on the pitch. He does look fit. He looks robust. He looks strong. He's not lightning quick, but that sharpness of movement to go along with the sharpness of thought is some combination. And you know, like any player, the fitter you are, the better your performances are going to be. And hopefully he remains injury-free. Obviously, Brendan's referring to that as well. And I think countrywide, it's not just Leicester City supporters. Countrywide, a lot of people have bemused why Maddison doesn't get more opportunities in that England squad. All he can do is keep continuing to play at the level he does, and I think he's capable of even more. He has something special about him, the regularity with which he produces. Just keep going and see where it takes him.
Before the game, we ran a competition for those of you watching at home. The question was, how many games have Leicester been unbeaten against Brentford? Of course, Brentford being the team the Foxes play on the opening weekend. The options were 8, 9 or 10. It's 10 games unbeaten, stretching all the way back to the 1950s. Those of you that emailed in, thank you very much. There can only be one winner, though, for those 2 hospitality tickets, and it's gone to Jordan Thompson. So congratulations to Jordan. The club, I'm sure, will be in touch with you ahead of that first game with Brentford, but you have 2 hospitality tickets for that one. It wasn't just the goals, Matt. Obviously, from a Fox's point of view, they had a number of opportunities, a number of chances. It could even have been more than the 4 in the end.
Yes, yeah, there were a few situations for sure. You know, Leicester always in control from the off. Again, you know, from the start, is Maddison again with that quality, isn't it? And good defending eventually. Fofana slightly frustrated. In and around these areas, you know, there's no one better really in the country. And that sort of delivery, being aware, sharp-minded. But again, I was slightly disappointed with Hull. I think they sort of handed the initiative and the advantage to the visitors straight away. You normally expect a bit of, you know, to be tested out by the home side early on. And it's like they sat back, they had the back 5 and tried to play on the counter. They never really had the quality to threaten Leicester, but they were in cruise control. But Soumaré, talk about many positives tonight, if only to a small degree. He was certainly one of them. I thought, you know, he shows more than a few glimpses of what he's capable of. He's just tidying up some other certain aspects of his game, but he's got ability, that's for sure. Decent strike, keeper saved well on this occasion. But yeah, I didn't think there was. They didn't test the goalkeeper too much, did they? But you always felt, listen, the scoreline 4-0, nothing to complain about, is there? Vardy, half a chance. Yeah, if he's at his sharpest, maybe he tucks that away. You wouldn't be surprised if he did. But Albrighton link up. That didn't take too long, did it? But he would have liked that one actually in front of the supporters there, Jamie Vardy, on this evening. But no, Leicester did. Listen, they did more than enough, but they had the capability to really go to town on Hull, and I think they were quite kind to Hull, just the 4 goals really, because they just got themselves through the fixture and did what was required.
A couple of minutes still to go, Matt. Obviously, we can talk about the games moving forward. Obviously, we heard again from Brendan Rodgers. He said he'll be taking a squad to Preston for that second game. You'll be at Derby on co-commentary for the first of those. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it should be a really good day. We'll have both games back-to-back here on Pre-Season Live on LCFC TV, which you can tune into, of course, on Saturday afternoon. What do you make of that? 2 squads in one day, 2 games. Because tonight we've seen 45 minutes, haven't we, for each set of players? But you imagine then it will be pretty much the 90. It'll have to be pretty much the 90, barring a few little substitutes here and there.
Yeah, no, obviously that's part of the main part of the thinking. I would say it's fitting in fixtures applicably, isn't it? But you know, the weekend traditionally the best football time. You're going to get the best crowds, atmosphere, sort of realism on replicating what's coming ahead, maybe. You know, like I said to you before, the game in terms of getting personally, I like to get as many 90 minutes as possible. At the moment, I think I'm right, apart from goalkeepers aside, no outfield players done that. That might be the only opportunity for quite a few players to do so on Saturday, because after that you've got the Seville game, but obviously limited players are going to be out. Only 11 max can play 90 minutes there, and obviously all the starters are not going to. So it's mixing it around and making sure that everyone's got enough minutes under them. And the weekend will be huge in terms of, that last serious push on the fitness front in terms of match practice. I think you'll see a number of players get 90 minutes at the weekend. Certainly ones who've been in longer than the others. But one thing I did want to do with Brendan interrupts, unfortunately the mics aren't working. I wanted to talk about improving things. He needs to improve his first touch, by the way, doesn't he? Ball came over, he tried to control it on his foot, hit him on his shin near his knee and bounced off. But missed opportunity by me because the technicality's gone. But maybe another time.
See, I know you, Matt. That you're going to keep that for months and months on end until you next see Brendan Rodgers, and you'll bring it up and say, "Do you remember what you did at Hull?" What do you think he'll do squad-wise then? So Brendan's going to take one squad, of course, to Preston, Chris Davis another to Derby. Will it be a mix and match? Will it be maybe the first half that we saw here? What do you think it will be? Obviously, we have no idea ourselves. We're probably guessing the same that the supporters are.
Yeah, it's quite a tough one actually to read Brendan's mind, and I think he's been quite, not courageous, but quite forthright in the way that so far he's picked in the main two fixtures, Leuven and tonight so far. There's been a definitive two squads almost, hasn't there? Two different systems, etc. But most people would say that the lineup that finished this game tonight, the majority of them, you're looking at that being the first 11 come Brentford at the King Power. Of course, there are variables, but he sort of laid down the marker for people, and he's gone, right, this is what's happening. So I would imagine it would be the same at the weekend. The first team, to a team as such, go one place, and then the sort of second string the other. But it's a fine line between those two strings, aren't there? But I don't know. Listen, I could be 100% wrong. I mean, I thought Brendan Rodgers would probably be going to the Derby game ahead of the Preston game. But then that suggests which way is a stronger lineup going. He said he's going to Preston, and Chris Davis will go to the Derby game. So I don't know. I don't know which way. Perhaps Brendan's got a night out in Manchester or something after the game. I don't know.
Your guess is as good as anyone's, Matt. That might have been your excuse or your reason back in the day. Final point from you this evening, final point from us this evening. 3 games in now. Obviously, that's the first win. There's been a defeat, a draw, a win. Things obviously on the pitch getting better. How do you see it personally?
Yeah, listen, the results not too consequential in my eyes, and sure that's the same for most coaches, managers of the right teams right through the country. But they just want to see that gradual progression. They know what they want to do in terms of, the physical improvement, the fitness quality being improved. But then you want to, again, Brendan's just said it there. There are a few little tactical things that trying to implement, and the players were taking that on board. Might not be nothing too obvious or too too extravagant, but just little bits that can help the team. And he's constantly trying to improve players, Brendan, and the team as a whole. And I think on Saturday, you have to see the bigger picture. Saturday, some people will look at that and think, oh, problems, because Leuven were exceptional. Leicester, a little bit shaky. See them tonight, and you're expecting possibly a similar test, but that Leuven already sharpened the mind of the players. They won that at a canter tonight, didn't they? And that's against championship opposition, who were raring to go, trying to give it their all, but just incapable of doing it because of the quality that Leicester possess. So some people will be looking, thinking they need some signings, or it'd be nice when a few people walk to the door and bolster the squad. But that's easier said than done. But Leicester aren't doing too bad with what they've got right now.
Well, thank you very much, Matt Elliott, for your company this evening. Hopefully that's the only time we have to mic share, but I quite enjoyed it. passing it on to you. That's it, though, for Leicester City's third pre-season game of the summer. There's been a defeat, a draw, and then a convincing 4-0 win this evening against Championship Hull City. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, we'll be back, of course, on Saturday for that double-header against Derby and Preston, where you can watch both 90 minutes here on Pre-Season Live. Good night.